Hello and welcome to another instructional video on how to use ONET Online. For information on how to utilize the Occupation Quick Search as indicated here, there is another video on our website to take you through the specifics of that tool and feature. But for the sake of this demonstration, we are going to review the Find Occupations, Advanced Search, a little bit about the Crosswalks, and then also the Hot Technologies section of the site. To get us started in the Find Occupations section, you can look at bright outlooks, which would indicate those jobs that have positive projected job growth for the next 8 to 10 years. So if that's a priority of yours to find a job right after graduation or to see that there will be continued growth in that area, this would be a great way to get started with that search. You can also search based on career clusters. Career clusters are somewhat similar to industries. However, they kind of put together more of these careers in what we call exploratory areas or related career communities. So as you can see from this drop-down, you can then do a filter based on all of these different areas listed here. If you know that you're interested in business administration and management, but aren't really sure what that all involves, or what that all entails rather, you can then get a full breakdown on the different jobs and specific career titles that fit into this cluster. So there's a lot of different information here, and even better yet, if you're ready to fine-tune it even further, you can even see that it has them categorized in the different types of employment within a cluster. In the Find Occupations drop-down, you will also be able to find green economy sector occupations. So these would be those that either do their work in environmentally friendly ways, or they're working to make advancements in eco-friendly technologies. Similar to the career cluster, you can also do a search based on industry. So in looking there further, we see that these are different groupings and different clusters than what we had seen previously in the career clusters drop-down. Similar to the other drop-downs or the other options here that I've highlighted, you can also then do those searches by job families, job zones, and even those careers that fall within the STEM field. Over under Advanced Search, this drop-down allows you to really fine-tune what it is you're looking for, and more so based on the different personality traits of yourself, skills you have, interests, or the things that are really specific to you as opposed to specific to the job. When we get to this point, we can see that abilities is broken down into these 4 different categories, and then you even get a nice little description of what each of those categories entail. When clicking into the arrow drop-down, I then see the 21 different specific abilities that are within cognitive. So if I know that a strength of mine is problem sensitivity, I can click into problem sensitivity and find specific careers and job titles that may fit or align with that strength or that ability of mine. That same thing is true for if you go through any of these other categories such as interests or skills. Furthermore, under the advanced search, you can also search for work contexts. I would say work context is one of the common areas that I look at with students because once they get to school or once they get to an academic setting and they learn a little bit more about their career field, they may say to me, I really don't want to work behind a desk all day, or I want to have the opportunity to see people face to face and not just work behind a desk. So here's where students and individuals can use some of those filters or learn a little bit more about the jobs that would fit some of their preferences. So for this demonstration, we will click into physical work conditions. And then here you can learn, or you can see how those conditions are kind of broken down and segmented. So for example, when I am working with a student, they might say to me, I really want to be able to work outdoors. I want to have the opportunity to be out in nature and those kinds of things. So we might look at the outdoors exposed to the weather or outdoors undercover. And in clicking into those, similar to the filters before, it will then give you a list of jobs and occupations that would allow you to work in that type of a context. So as you can imagine, these drop-downs here, they work very similarly to give you the lists of jobs and occupations. So I highly encourage you to play around with those. If there is something specifically that you're not finding that you would still like help getting guided to, again, don't hesitate to reach out to us. The Crosswalks section is most commonly used for the students that we work with that have military backgrounds and want to learn about the different jobs and occupations that may relate to their military experience. In Crosswalks, if you click military, it will then bring you to filters where you can indicate which branch of the service you are in, and then you also provide a military occupational classification, and it then will bring you to some of those specific job titles that could relate to the work you've already accomplished. Hot technologies can also be handy for students who are involved in using technology in the classroom or perhaps even group projects that they've done, and they want to see how that could relate or translate to a future work environment. For the sake of the demonstration, I'm going to click into Adobe InDesign, as we hear from a lot of students who work in marketing, PR, design, sometimes even architecture and some of those other areas. They have familiarity with this software or with this type of technology, and they want to know where else they could use it aside from the one or two different specific jobs they've been exposed to. So here, in clicking into this, we then get to see all of the different jobs that have listed that the InDesign software is something that they may use on a regular basis, or that having that skill set is really essential and helpful in these specific job titles. For more information on accessing these tools and resources, or how to best use the filters for your particular situation, reach out to us by phone at 701-231-7111 or email us at ndsu.cac@ndsu.edu.